What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. This is the Knuckleheads podcast brought to you by 3 High. I'm Tom. This is Taylor. Today we're chilling with the boys, Meter and Gio.
Hey, what's good? What up?
So Meter's kind of the founder of 3 High. Gio's a producing engineer for 3 High. Why don't you guys tell us a little bit about what 3 High is, what we do?
Yeah, so 3 High is a creative team for those of you who don't know. I think a lot of people see it as one avenue or another. People rock with our clothes, people rock with our music. We're really trying to do it all. We got multiple avenues that we're pushing content through. If you haven't seen stuff that we've been working on, we're working on short films. We got 3 High Cinema. I think a lot of you probably heard the music side of things. So we got 3 High Records. We dropped an album over the summer. We got something in the works, a little project for the fall. Do a lot of film stuff, like I said. We also got a couple clothing lines, a couple out, a couple in the works. So yeah, we're really just trying to push things kind of full force in multiple directions and see where that takes us.
Fuck yeah, dude. And we also got this podcast. So
Yes, sir.
some new content. If
episode
you
1.
could give Meter, if someone was like, yo, what's 3 High? But you could say it in like 2 sentences. What's your 2 sentences?
I wouldn't even say it in a fucking multi-sentence form. I would say it's a creative team. That's all I really didn't know. Multi-avenue creative team is how I put it.
That's what's up.
Fair enough.
So, Meter, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do in 3 High, and then we'll get into what Gio does.
Want me to take it back as far as like the root behind 3 High?
Yeah, and tell us how you came up with the idea of 3 High, why you started, what your ideas with 3 High were.
Yeah, perfect. So, growing up in northern New Hampshire, I'm from North Conway. I did a lot of like content creation in all levels. What's so funny over there, Taylor?
Yeah, right.
No, you guys can't see him, but Noah's fucking looking at me.
I'm drinking my beer. I'm looking up. Taylor's looking at me and fucking laughing at me.
Hey, you're not on this podcast.
Stay over there, be quiet.
My bad.
Don't look at him.
I just would like to make an announcement for everybody watching this podcast. Noah Dobbins is a simp.
Yeah. So like you see 4 motherfuckers in front of this camera, but it goes to show how many people are in the works. We got Noah the Simp Dobbins behind us.
Shut the fuck up! Oh my god.
Yeah, so we got multiple people in the works. But taking it back to the question, Tom.
Yeah, we're back in northern New Hampshire, up in the woods.
Back in northern New Hampshire.
We are in the
which,
woods.
Taylor thought was fucking hilarious.
In the mountains.
But yeah, so taking it back to when I was in high
said
school
no, it's us.
before we came to UNH, I surrounded myself with a good group of people, all who love to create. I like to create on multiple levels, and kind of what inspired 3 High was that I feel like my multiple passions as far as content creation goes. Most people kind of will look at that and see that as confused and not see like what their true passion is and what they want to do, whether it's videography, whether it's fashion, whether it's music. But I kind of took advantage of that and wanted to make something where I could take all avenues of content creation and kind of use it as one big force and under one label. And I kind of, like I said, I surrounded myself with the people who are now like my brothers. Shout out Jama, shout out Travis, shout out Red B, Brandon. We wanted to create something where it wasn't just a clothing company, it wasn't just a music group, it was something all together. And I was lucky enough to have those people back at home who we came up with this idea, built off of other projects we've had in the past, and then continue further. When I came here to UNH, I was lucky enough to build this circle of people like Taylor and Tom and the simp behind the camera and the other kids that are behind the camera right now, and multiple people. It's a big team that we got here. I was lucky enough to surround myself with these people who all also like rock with the idea of whether or not they're passionate with just music, passionate with the fashion side of things. They all fuck with the idea of bringing it all up to rise with one.
10 people now, right? 10 people?
10 people at least. I mean, I look at it as like
it's grown so fast.
right. It's like like the planet Earth, bro. Like there's like the core, you know what I mean? Like there's the core like 3 or 4 people, and it's honestly expanded to a core 10 people, and then there's like these layers and circles. Like we got Taylor before we had this podcast and started this tonight. I mean, he was writing articles for the magazine we got, www.3highworld.com. He's been writing for that. Kids like Nick Braga, shout out Braga. Like there's so many kids involved in this process, and that's
Kid
kinda
sucks
the beauty.
photography.
Yeah. Yeah, congrats on getting out of quarantine.
For my boy.
But yeah, I don't know if that answered
Free
the question.
dig.
No, that's
Yeah.
great. That was perfect. I like that. Gio, how about we hear a little bit about what you do?
So I'll do my little background as well, I guess. I grew up in well, I didn't really grow up. I moved around a lot as a kid. My dad was Air Force growing up, and I went to high school in Alaska all 4 years. And when people ask me where I'm from, I just say Alaska, even though I've moved to 2 different places since I've graduated. But I'm based here in UNH.
So you've been around.
Yeah, I've been around.
Little slut.
Yeah, I'm a little country slut.
How was
know.
Alaska?
Cold as fuck.
You see any grizzly bears?
See a lot of bears, see a lot of moose, see a lot of eagles.
Bigfoot?
Dude, like my whole senior year, my block heater, no, just like my heater, my car was like broken like through the whole winter, and I had to drive to school with like a winter jacket and like gloves on, and like a little block for me to see because it was so iced up.
What's it? Is it like what part of Alaska?
So Wasilla, Alaska, it's like about like an hour north of Anchorage. It's in this like, it's we call it the Valley. It's Palmer, Wasilla, and Houston. It's a kind of like a tight knit community, but I feel like pretty much everyone fairly knows each other pretty well in that area.
So I don't know if I'm thinking of a different area, but it's pretty much bright out most of the hours. Correct?
Yeah, in the summertime, it was like. You get like
Also-
20 hours of sunlight, like 21 hours of sunlight. It was
Yeah, it's
crazy.
crazy.
You walk out at midnight and like the sun would be still in the sky, like right above you.
It's wild.
It's crazy. I like got into music production when I was like I think like 14 or 15. It was funny because me and my buddy like listened to One Night by Lil Yachty for the first time, and for some reason that song made me want to make
Like,
a song of my own.
I
was
gotta
like,
make
yo,
a song.
I gotta make a song like
a good
this.
song.
It was horrible. It was ghostwritten by another ghostwriter.
Shout out Yachty though. For
Shout
that.
out Yachty. Fast forward, been making music for a little bit. Get into high school, and ironically, I was also in another music group. It was just me and 2 of my boys who rapped. It was I don't even know if Meter knows, but we were called 3 Codes because there was in the Valley there was Houston, Palmer, and Wasilla.
It's kind of wild.
Yeah, I know, right? Isn't that
kinda
crazy?
wild.
I had no idea
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that.
It was like Colin.
What was that?
Colin.
No, he wasn't in there. Shout out Colin. There was Kyle Dearborn and Martin Jones. Shout out the boys. OG as fuck. But yeah, it was pretty much those 2. And then come here around like freshman year of college, like 2018.
Why'd your family move here?
Well, no, my family didn't move here. My family moved to Florida right after I graduated, but I came to UNH. So I'm
Just cause?
like my family like moving just cause.
No, you
Your
coming to
family in
UNH.
Maine, right?
Yeah, so I have like my grandparents live up in Maine, so they're
Okay.
pretty close. So I have some place to go for like Thanksgiving, and like usually I go back home for Christmas anyways. But for those smaller events, I go see my grandparents. But come like freshman year, lived actually right across the hall from Taylor in our dorm.
Shout out the 3B boys.
Shout out
You know how it
3B
is.
boys. Shout out Christensen. Shout out
Yeah.
Nick Francis.
I thought Gio was a dad when I first saw him. He
Yo,
had his
oh
door
my
open.
God,
we lived across the hall from each other. He had his door open, and he's like putting away clothes. So like I just looked at a weird angle of him, and I was like, oh, I wonder if that's the kid's dad or something. So I like, peeked around the corner, and then Gio like put his head up. I was like, yeah, there he is.
Then he stood down from the bookshelf. And he was like, oh no, that's not a dad.
Oh, that was funny.
Short king, you know. But Rob was Taylor's roommate, and he so happened to rap too.
Rob Pennell?
Didn't he?
Young
like,
Ray.
Young Ray went to
Young
UNH?
Ray, baby.
Dude, he was my
Live
roommate
Young
freshman
Ray on
year.
the show.
Shout out
Oh,
Rob
fuck,
Penal.
yo.
Shout out Young Ray. It's my boy. He'll be on the show at some point. You'll see
He will
him.
be on the show. It's gonna be a.
Was
dope
he
show.
was he making music in high school? Or did
Yeah,
he
I
just-
mean, we like Rob.
Did he
We
start
started
with-
fucking around with like freestyling probably like I want to say junior high school is when we just were like, all right, let's freestyle because we just
Shit.
get like we'd be up in like Dom's attic and just like get high.
Did
and
he like
just
start
freestyle.
recording with me at college?
Oh yeah, Rob. I don't know. He might have done some recording senior year with like our boy Ryan Cole, like someone who produced back home. But
Okay.
he didn't really start really getting into it until it was with you. Because
Yeah.
you were our first like closest friend that like could actually produce. Like we had some friends who could fuck around and like make some beats, but like you knew what you were doing.
Yeah.
Geo's fucking
Definitely.
nasty at producing.
Thank you. It was definitely a process. It's a long, grueling process. Went through like 2 laptops trying to make beats, and all of them ended up
Yeah,
being
you were
fucked
dope setup.
because like so many like files and like pirated plugins I had to download just ended up fucking my computer because like they ended up coming with the virus.
Virus on the computers.
But like yeah, me and like in my dorm, me and Rob were making music quite a bit. We made like a little 3-song EP, pretty much. Like Rob was on every song with me freshman year.
You still got those tracks?
Yeah, it's on my SoundCloud actually. It's
Oh.
maybe we'll put that
We'll
in.
put a
like,
link in.
Put a link in for those for that little EP. But fast forward, spring semester freshman year, Ryan fucking Meter comes out of nowhere from Florida and joins the same fraternity that we're in.
Yeah, wait, a quick little insert there. I went to school for literally a month, freshman year fall semester in South Florida, thinking I could take my creative passion there, but Tampa sucks. Fuck Tampa. So I came here.
Fuck Florida.
Yeah, fuck Florida. We'll keep going.
No disrespect to Florida. Fuck Florida. The people are cool, but just fuck Florida. Ryan Meter like hits me up like the summer after our freshman year, and he's like, "Yo, we need to like do some shit." Ended up.
We weren't even close at that point.
No, we weren't even close. Yeah, no, we didn't even start recording until like once everyone started moving back in, right?
Yeah, last year was sophomore year.
Yeah. I feel like we talked a little bit that spring semester about like the names of a brand. Like we came up with a few names, and then I think you hit me up one night and you're like, "Yo, 3 High," and I was like, "Yo, that's the fucking one. That's the one." Because you and Trav had that name in mind for like a while, right?
Yeah, so me, Trav, and Jama, back at home, we used to fuck around late night with like music and shit, mainly like instrument, like like acoustic shit with guitars. And Jama owned this campground. Shout out Glen Ellis Campground, best campground in the world. And he had a little shed, and we'd just fuck around and make music. And there's 3 of us. 3 High boys, you can put together the pieces from there. We just fucked around and called each other that. It was a little joke of ours. And I think one night, I don't know if you've ever been up North Conway, but there's a little scenic vista with the amazing view. And we literally just sat in my car and we freestyled for like probably 2 hours, I'd say. And like we were just kind of like fucking around, and off the dome, like something about 3 High boys came up, and then it just came down to 3 High. And like it's obviously it's expanded past me, Jamo, and Travis. So there's not 3 of us. A lot of people are like, oh, like, there's 4 of you now. Like, is it 4 High? Oh, there's
Yeah,
like
people say that to me all
25
the
of you.
I'm
is
like,
it
no, there's
25
like
now?
10-ish people, and they're like, why don't you call it 10 High?
Yeah, so
Like, that's not a.
That's not
the point
Yeah.
is that like we were in that creative moment, and that's probably one of the coolest moments I've ever been in. And like it was the first time we felt united under that name, I feel like, and it just kind of clicked, and like that's all that mattered to us, and that's what we went with. And I feel like introducing that name to Geo, to Cooch, to you two, like it just clicked, and it kind of just. It's never like we never sat down and had a conversation of like, yo, like what does this name mean to you guys? Like why do you call yourselves 3 High? It's like it almost like opens that opportunity for anyone who like, what does 3 High mean to you? We actually made that video over the summer, like 2 summers ago, and we were talking about what 3 High meant to us. And it's like, even if you're not in 3 High, sorry, 3 Y.
Shout out 4 High World.
We'll get into that.
We'll get into that.
But yeah, just like what I'm saying is just like, even if you're not in 3 High, even if you're just like, you follow us, you're rocking with our music, it's just like, it's that open-ended question that I fuck with, and like, what does 3 High mean to you? And however you perceive it, it's just kind of like, it just kind of clicks for us, and I've seen that it clicked for other people, and it just kind of works.
Fuck yeah, kind of like a movement.
Yeah, it's a movement. It's like one of your, like those books or like create your own journey. Like flip to page 62 if you want this to happen. Like literally, that's what it is. It's like a lot of brands are just like so specific to one thing and one movement. But like as we do with our avenues and we push in all these different directions, like we understand that like what comes off to us when we make a song or when we make a piece like a hoodie or something like that, it could be totally something different for you guys, and like that's what we fuck with the name kind of being like this arbitrary to the average Joe, but when you look at it, it might mean something different to you, and like it's just kind of the cool thing that we rock with.
We had a little conversation like that on my deck.
That was a good conversation.
That was a great conversation. But essentially, it was like there's so many brands that start like 3 High does, and then they blow up. They get a manager or whatever, and then that manager's like, "Hey, these other avenues aren't working for you. Just follow this one avenue." And a lot of brands will do that. They'll be like, "Okay, this is how we can make money. This whatever," and they'll just go down the one avenue. But you were saying you don't want to do that at all. You want to keep having multiple avenues. Like you want to keep up with the film, photography, music, the magazine, keep doing all of it.
Yeah. So like to reiterate what Tom's saying is like you can take a company who's not just a clothing company, they're trying to do what we do, and they're trying to have like cinema behind it too. They're trying to make videos, and their clothing's taken off, but like the film is just kind of something that they've been doing on the side. And an investor, someone like that's about to give them all this cash, and they're saying, like you're focusing too much time and energy on trying to do both things. Like you should just focus on the clothing. You'll make a killing off of it. And like I was saying to Tom when we were sitting on his porch, is like not only we're trying to do 2 things, we're trying to do. I can't even keep count of the amount of things that we're trying to do. Yeah, I mean we're coming up with new ideas every time.
Everything, dude.
And if like I'm almost gonna be inspired by that moment if it happens. If someone tries to tell me that, hey, like your music's really kicking off, like. You need to stop focusing so much time and energy towards clothing and all these other things. That's the moment that I've been waiting for, so I can be like, fuck that, and kind of like it's almost like I want to move everything together as one. And there might even be avenues that you don't even know about, that we don't even know about. We might start it a month from now, and that's kind of the beauty of it all. And we just want to move everything as one, rather than kind of trying to tunnel vision, trying to open it up and do everything that we can do.
That'll be a cool moment. I'm gonna say fuck you.
Yeah, I'm dying for that moment to happen.
Or say fuck you. No, we're doing everything.
The industry, just like fuck you guys.
Yeah,
We want to stay independent as possible too.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like-
it's like joining a music label. Say if we were just fucking around making music and something took off, one song or an album or something, and a label came to us and they tried signing us or something like that, we would definitely say fuck that, because when we're trying to be independent as artists and be able to do whatever the fuck we want.
Trying to be independent as people.
As a group, as a team, and just kind of never even have a need for like a helping hand, and just be able to just move forward with everything that we're doing and open up new opportunities. It's like, it's amazing. Like I was thinking, we were talking one time, and it's like I could see Travis over here behind the camera being like, one day be like, I want to write a fucking book. And if he was to come, if he was to
do
come,
it.
Yeah, exactly. If he was coming to me and say write a book, never would Tom, would Gio, would anyone in 3 High ever say, yo, that's fucking stupid. Like you're going over the top here. Like we've made all these other things, but we can't make a book. Like I want to be able to create something that if an idea sparks, like we can make it happen, and we can make it happen as a group and put it on for whoever's idea that is.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I started fucking with you guys.
Yeah.
Like you said, your creative team, like everyone's kind of got their own role here, and that's what I kind of fuck with. Like you kind of get to do your own thing. Like obviously it's like Noah's looking good over there. He's out of camera. He's looking good.
Noah's our legal consultant in training.
Like
3 High dad.
Many tools and trades, but I definitely agree with Taylor on that. That's why I got so
Yeah.
interested in helping the boys out. So.
thanks for your input, bud.
Well, yeah, it's also a cool thing to be able to see all the people that we've brought into this, because it's like I feel like myself and I feel like the boys who originally started this, like we've almost given people opportunities to contribute in whichever way they want to. Like people come to me with ideas all the time, and I just like we've built this platform, and I let them just take off and do whatever they want.
It's
you know?
so it's like so welcoming too.
Yeah.
It's like there's so many people that support us, but there's specific people that really want to get involved. They want to help. They want to contribute, and I feel like that's kind of how I got involved with 3i. Because talking to you last year, I was like, oh, I want to help. I want to contribute, and you were like, yeah, dude, like hop on board, and I did, and not regretting it one bit.
Exactly.
Yeah, except I got weird vibes from that kid Cooch. First time I met that kid, and damn, he rubbed me off the wrong way.
It's a beauty.
I don't even know how I feel about him still, but it's alright.
He's alright though. He's alright.
Yeah.
alright.
That's one of the reasons Meter's like, fuck, I don't even remember how it happened actually. You're just like, dude, I think we should do a podcast. Like, how would you feel about doing a podcast? I'm like, dude, let's do a fucking podcast.
Yo, wait, didn't we tried making a podcast our freshman
Well, yeah,
year? in
yeah,
3D.
same.
It was bad. It was horrible.
Yeah, our freshman year, me and
Absolutely
Gio,
horrible.
true. We were kind of fucking around back, even freshman year, we were fucking around with random shit
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, we just,
I feel like the
classic.
podcast idea for 3i has been floating around for quite
Yeah,
a while
I mean,
now,
dude.
and it's
Who doesn't want to do a
amazing
podcast?
to see it like actually happen.
I feel like we all have pretty good eyes for like other kids that we see that have like these creative ideas and like this passion to make it happen, but they don't necessarily like know how to do it or have the drive to do it. And then I feel like we all like it starts with the first 3 or 4 of us, and then it builds from there. But like we came up with the idea for a podcast, and then I looked at Taylor and I was like, I didn't even know Taylor that well at this point. I was like, yo, Taylor, like, you're gonna be the guy to help me start a fucking podcast for 3i. Like, I feel like we've all gotten pretty good at like, identifying when someone has some sort of creative vision or something like that, and kind of bring them into the force and helping us make it happen, essentially.
Absolutely.
Dope.
So I want to kind of stay on this topic of like what you're doing with 3i and what you want to do with 3i. So do you think you have an end goal right now, or do you think you have one in mind where you would like to see the brand go?
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years, let's go.
I mean, that's
10 years.
always a smart like concept to be able to deliver. Like when someone asks you that question.
But fuck the 5 years. Where do you want to be?
Fuck the 5 years. I mean, I kind of look at it as like, there's never an end goal. There's just gonna be like chapters. I feel like, you know what I mean? Like, there's
Ooh, all right.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like, there's like, it's either a never-ending book, and some say, man, like, take that metaphor and be like, oh, that's unrealistic to apply to anything that you guys are trying to do. If it's not a never-ending book, it's just chapters amongst chapters. We finish one book, then we're on to the next one. The end goal is just to be able to completely have the freedom to actually do whatever we want. You know what I mean?
Create. Just create.
Because I feel like we've made it happen. We've had ideas, and it's taken X amount of time to make it happen. With however we're gonna fund it, however we're gonna actually like make it happen. We had to wait until we got this apartment to make this podcast like really happen. So I mean, I guess the end goal, if I was to say, it would just be able to get to a point where we have unlimited freedom. Like I said, if Trav wanted to write a book under 3i, we could, like, that wasn't something that we had to like necessarily overcome all these obstacles. There'll always be something to overcome, but just to break down those barriers and whatever ideas that we have, to be able to then establish them within the brand, I guess that would be an end goal for me.
You mentioned breaking down barriers there.
I did mention that.
Busting through them.
Yeah, breaking down barriers.
All the way through.
So far, obviously, there's been a lot of challenges with 3i. Do you have one challenge that you think really kind of changed 3i, or a challenge that you had and you were able to overcome?
I mean, if I was to talk like big picture, it's not even really like an obstacle or a barrier or challenge that I had to overcome. Something that like I feel like I put in a lot of work like personally that then reflected on 3i that wasn't so like tangible. It's like I try to focus on like keeping out like everyone that's involved inspired. I feel like to start, like, it was an idea that meant something so much to me, and I knew that like everyone fucked with it and wanted to make it happen. But I feel like building passion within other people is probably one of the most like accomplishing feelings that you can do. So I mean, it's not necessarily like a barrier, an obstacle that was like super challenging to do, but it's always something you have to overcome because, I mean, we've gotten so many people, and it's not just me. I mean, like, I bring Gio in on it, and then he brings in someone else, and he faces that same feeling of like, you know, really securing that passion and making people believe in what we're doing. That's a good obstacle. And then there's little obstacles like funding and financial things. Like
Definitely.
Like if we had unlimited, you know, amount of money, we're obviously like broke college kids.
Maybe one day.
Like if we had unlimited money, then we could do anything. It's not even like do anything, but we could do it on a more desirable like timetable, I'd say. So like I was saying, like I don't know if you've like another small thing, another small barrier, for example, would be, I don't know if you guys saw what we made this summer. We made a movie, short film. It's called Jago. It's coming out probably sometime next year. But yeah, I mean, we had it's God behind the camera. Shout out Tom Steer.
Beast.
He's actually the videographer for the UNH football team. He came in. He did a hell of a job. We stayed at an Airbnb. It was probably one of the most wild experiences I've ever had. Tom was there.
So cool.
Chav was there. Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. We shot like all day for like 4 days, and we saved this one scene, this one indoor scene that we shot at the condo for the last night, so we could get like extras there, get people there, have a good time, and then when we were done filming, we could, you know, just kind of celebrate. And so we spent like probably 2 hours shooting that, and then like we had a bunch of people over. They did great. It was like 2 a.m. at this point. We all just wanted to kind of like wind down and just like have a good time. And then I realized there was like this upper balcony part, and I was sitting up there kind of looking over it. And I realized literally like minutes before we wrapped up that our main character, who was played by Jama, was wearing the wrong outfit. And that's not on Jama, it was on us as a production crew. It was just like a continuity error. And it kind of just like...
so painful, dude.
It was so painful. I mean, it
so
botched
bad.
the entire...
I mean, that scene
just
took
that scene. Yeah.
3 hours probably.
Yeah, 2 to 3 hours, I'd say. And I mean, that right there, I mean, that was probably like one, like, I don't even want to call it a failure because like it didn't scrap the like what the week was, but it scrapped like this last piece that put it all together.
It was
And,
so crucial.
yeah, I mean, it was just like this emotional moment of kind of like a mistake that I think we all learned from it. I mean,
Absolutely.
it was almost a cool thing. Like it kind of brought us all together as a creative team. Not all of us are there, but like the production crew for the week. Yeah, I mean, it was super discouraging, but at the same time, like the energy that we all brought to like, you know, fixing the issue and redoing it and still like keeping our head up and just keep chugging forward. Like that was one obstacle that, I mean, I think of like every day of just kind of like something inspiring that you get knocked down and get back up on your feet type of thing.
All right, Gio, I want to get you involved in this conversation a little bit. Do you want to talk a little bit about the challenges that you've overcome or anything you've faced that has changed your perception?
Yeah, I would say my biggest challenge for like 3 High wise was definitely, so I like mix and engineer like all of our music and whatnot. White noise was probably one of the biggest like hair pulling processes I've ever gone through. Whether it be like I'd mix it, it'd sound good, it'd sound like shit in the car, and then I'd go back and mix it, and it'd sound like shit on speakers.
The car test.
The car. I feel like the car test is very universal. It's like if it sounds good if it sounds pretty good in the car, it'll sound even better everywhere else.
And White Noise is a song you produced, right?
It's an album.
It's, yeah, the White Noise Volume 1,
Sweet.
streaming on Spotify right now.
I
It's
messed up on that.
3 High. But the biggest problem that we faced through making White Noise was definitely like everyone's schedule, because pretty much everyone in 3 High goes to college, and like everyone's schedule is just conflicted. It took us like literally like 9 months to just finish recording White Noise. We didn't even finish recording until like 3 weeks before
Yeah,
it dropped.
I mean, like every little detail recorded. Yeah.
Yeah, like once all the audio was recorded, it was smooth sailing from there. But I usually mix it and master it on my desktop PC. But I couldn't bring that with me over this summer. I went back to my parents' house for a little bit
In Germany.
in Germany.
In Germany.
My family moved to Germany in January, so I was billing over there for like 2 months over the summer.
Another place you've been.
Another place I've been.
Another place
yeah.
you've lived.
I
Germany.
lived, yep. I was able to mix White Noise, the track itself, White Noise, and there was one other song. Oh, it was Left for God. I would say those are the two not so best mixed songs off the album. That was frustrating just from my point of view. I wouldn't call myself a perfectionist, but those little details that I could have hammered out, which I wasn't able to just because of the restrictions that I had, kind of hurt, I guess. But it's definitely opened up my views towards, like, I definitely want to move towards more portable shit to where I can make music wherever I go without any restrictions.
Yeah.
That's something that I'm looking into investing to myself, not just for myself, but 3 High as well.
So, when you were in Germany, did you have your desktop with you?
No, I had just this shitty MacBook right here. It could barely run FL Studio to mix it.
Yeah, it's tough.
It was pretty bad. It was very grueling. My parents still like don't really know what 3 High is. Like they've seen me wear the shirts and they're like, "Yo, what's 3 High?" I'll be like, "Oh, it's a company like me and my friends started." I haven't really gotten into it.
They
And then I
know-
told them that I like mix and master music and shit.
Tell them watch the podcast.
Yeah, definitely have them watch this podcast. This will explain a lot to them, but
Just this episode.
Shout out our families.
shout out
Shout out mom.
shout out mom, shout out dads, shout out grandmas.
So your parents know you produced then, yeah?
Yeah.
Did they listen to anything?
No, definitely not. They don't like rap music. I grew up listening. Well, my mom likes rap music, but she can't really listen to it because I have a younger sibling,
Yeah.
9 years old. Shout out Paige.
Showing our music to our parents. Like I show my music to my parents, and it's a weird experience.
Yeah, dude, it's
It's-
definitely.
Some of the
it's a
shit you say is pretty whack. So
It's like,
I
do
can
I
only
want my
imagine.
parents to hear what I'm rapping about? Like, I feel like most of the raps that we do, it's more artistical than, like, obviously a lot of it's through experience, because why else would we have those thoughts and put it into music, right?
Right.
But I feel like a lot of this stuff is just to flow artistically within our music. And,
Yeah.
like, some shit may be exaggerated, some shit is real.
A lot of the exaggerated stuff is like metaphors for something bigger, though. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
But then there's also those times where like, yo, I just fuck your bitch in the back of the car or some shit, like in a song.
But
Like
it's just-
definitely like my parents.
it's just
may
there
hear
for the
that,
lyrics.
But like we're
it's just
respecting
there.
those women. I'm
yeah,
telling
yeah,
you.
of course. That was very consensual. Consent is key.
Gio's actually never had sex.
Yeah, so actually, I wasn't a virgin, and then I went to like this church, and they were like, "Yo, we can make you reborn again." So I was like,
Is this true?
"No, it's not actually true."
Cat alert.
All right, I got a question for you boys. Kind of for both of you. At what point through White Noise? At what point through White Noise were you like took a step back and you're like, damn, like this is gonna be some dope shit? Like, what was that moment for you guys?
I feel like the very first track we recorded was Pull the Trigger Back, and it didn't actually end up making White Noise, even though that was the first track that we were like, yo, this we want to make an album coming from this.
I never even heard that song.
Yeah, it's pretty vaulted.
Hey, dude, yeah.
It's
you
deep-
can
it's
definitely
deep in there?
upload it at some point, yeah.
Is it safe to say that's a song that inspired the album though, but just never made it
No,
on the thing?
it I wouldn't say it inspired it in the sense where like, yo, we want to make an album coming from this, but like the album itself was like almost a completely different sound of that first track.
It was like what inspired us to like continue making music as a collective. I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, like
yeah.
it was that first like song that we were all on, where we were like, yo, like
This shit's tight.
yeah, this shit's
This shit was
I'd say when Trav started laying the chorus for Meiko,
Oh
was
yeah.
when like
That was
I was
crazy.
playing the beat and Trav was like, "Yo, I got some shit." And he's going,
I'm about to
take a trip to Mexico."
Shout
I
out
was,
Mexico,
I was
bro.
like, "Yo."
Yeah, that
that was
song.
definitely the moment.
That's our most played song too. It's like over. It's like 3,500 now, I think,
Damn.
which is sick.
That's
pretty
crazy.
cool.
Good feeling.
Yeah.
Good energy there. Yeah.
G-Bird done bodied the beat.
For real.
For real.
Yeah, and you haven't yet, go check out that album,
Yeah.
White Noise.
Knucklehead's coming soon.
Nasty.
Coming this fall.
Knuckleheads. Also the name of this podcast.
Also, the name of this podcast.
It's a staple. It's a staple.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be a staple.
It's
at
a
3 High.
staple for sure.
So I want to talk a little bit about your audience, or 3 High's audience, our audience.
Yeah.
Who do you think you're kind of directing the music towards? Because I look at Spotify for artists, for example,
Yeah.
and the age is, I think it's like 70%. It's like 20 to 34 or something, or
Yeah, which is a big range.
which is a big range, but like there's even people 65 years old and plus. It's like 2% of our listeners. I'm like, who the hell?
shout out grandma. Sure, bro.
Shout out
My
Grandma.
nana,
shout
my
out
nana
Grandpa.
put me on the map.
Shout
Yeah,
out
so
Nana, dude.
who do you think our audience is? Who do you want our audience to be?
Yeah,
Explain that a little
so
bit.
for those of you who don't know, Tom runs our marketing, so that's how he knows that type of data. But yeah, it's kind of weird how it all works out. I feel like through White Noise, we didn't really have some sort of specific like target audience. Obviously, like being on a college campus and creating on a college campus, like you want to connect with college kids. But I mean, it's tough. It's a tough question to answer because I feel like there's different audiences that we're targeting, not only with each song that we make or each project that we do, but with each avenue of 3 High that we're doing. You know what I mean? Like something cool about the cinema that I thought was awesome was like the amount of people in the community that saw us, filming the film and.
It was crazy. Like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
groups of 40 people watching us at one point. It
Right.
was like,
So it varies with each like piece of content that we do. So like for the cinema, like I feel like it could really tap into, the older age groups and stuff like that. I'd say like our main like demographic would be like that 18 to 26 range as
Right.
far as the music goes.
Yeah, that like young adult phase where like you're still trying to figure out what you want to do in life.
I
And
think
it's definitely okay to not know what you want to do
Yeah.
until you find out what you truly want to do. Like, I had no clue what the fuck I want to do. I still don't know what the fuck I want to do, but I know that 3 High is gonna be a part of that somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of my
I think
future.
pretty much everyone can relate to that.
Yeah.
I feel like when I think of like a target audience too, I'm not thinking of like the audience in which we're trying to like entertain. It's more of like the audience that we're trying to inspire. Because like, I mean, I feel like I want to tap into the people who don't just listen to our music, don't just like buy our clothing because they think it's cool. They think like it's a cool tee. Oh, this song goes hard. I want to like bigger picture type of thing. I want to inspire people who also like to create or also like passionate about content creation and kind of inspire people to do what we've done where we've kind of dropped everything and just ran with what we're trying to do. So I feel like that's kind of on an individual basis. There's no real demographic to that. So I feel like I'm just kind of full force trying to target those kids to be inspired by what we're doing, not just entertain, like I said.
Change the culture.
Yeah. Do you think it's hard to get college students on board with what we're doing? Because I mean, obviously we have our supporters, but there's people who are like, oh, these kids are never going to go anywhere. I don't care about what they're doing, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to connect with kids when we're not like, on a pedestal. Like if people like have only heard our voices through the songs, have only seen like our faces through our Instagram, through videos and stuff like that, like out of touch people, then like I feel like it's easy for them to kind of fuck with what we're trying to do. But if they see the type of people that we are, it's almost something that we have to use to our advantage and try connecting our audience and kind of letting them into our lives and how we do things and seeing like the people behind the production and like relating to how we're making the content, not just how they're receiving the content, is how I kind of think of it.
Yeah.
But it's definitely tough.
Jerry, you got anything to add to that?
No, sir. I think
Alright.
you covered it well.
Yeah, that was well said. Damn.
That was,
I forgot I was in this
out my
podcast
mouth.
for a sec. I just got zoned into that.
Yeah, bro, that's what I'm
That was
saying. I'm
great.
like, yo,
I stay
I'm
right
not
this
real
man
with
speaking
shit.
facts.
I was like,
right
oh
now.
shit, I'm still on this mic.
That was a great answer.
That was a really damn good answer, bro.
Yeah. So
Should be an author.
staying on the audience track here, because I think audience is so important, especially in music. You have to know who your audience is. So is there ways that you kind of want to impact your audience? I know you said you want to influence people to maybe start doing what we're doing or doing, especially just what they love to do.
Yeah.
But is there other ways you want to impact them?
I feel like I just want to impact them in like the most like positive way and the most like vibrant way, to the point where like they take something away from what we're doing and not just what we did. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah. If that kind of touches on what you're saying, like impact them in a way that like I keep saying inspire, but inspires them to do the thing that they've been thinking about doing, but something's holding them back, kind of like a social like barrier, like we were talking about, like just kind of pushing that listener, that member of the audience, to just accomplish what
Block
they're
out the
actually
haters.
I feel like with our music too, it's definitely more like we have like hard stuff, right? But like most of it's like lyrically wise, it's like, yo, like chill out and like do what you love doing. And I feel like that is what's gonna help inspire a lot of kids and like a lot of people our age now. It's like almost everyone, like the culture is like everyone has a stick up their ass at all times.
For real.
And it's like, yo, just like take a chill pill and just like everyone should just vibe, you know?
Everyone should just vibe.
But yeah, like something that I've said to like a couple of you guys is like our boy B, who's on most like the album, most of the songs, like he like gets I wouldn't say frustrated, but he gets like worked up. I don't even want to say worked up, but like that people don't share, like if we ask people to share our music, or like it's something that we want people to share and people don't do it, it's not necessarily that people aren't like riding what we're doing, but they're almost like intimidated by supporting, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like it's almost
Absolutely.
like something that you can get judged upon by supporting these kids, and like we've successfully dropped all fear of judgment and all fear of like just being like not confident with what we're doing. Like I feel like we've owned this shit at this point. But some people, I mean, they have to break down a barrier in order to just like support a movement. And once you can break down that barrier and you can get other people to break down the barrier, then your movement kind of becomes more like united and more full force moving forward. I feel
Yep.
like that's kind of
I think that comes with time.
yeah.
Like 3i's been going for a couple of years now. I mean, at first I'm sure you were a little nervous about what people would think.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but time has passed and you're like, I'm gonna do this. People are seeing now, like, oh, this kid isn't gonna stop doing this. 3i isn't gonna slow down.
No.
So yeah, I think overcoming that is definitely comes with time.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Anything else you want to add?
Nah, I'm chilling. I'm high as fuck.
How are you guys?
Talk with me?
Yeah.
Dude,
Anything you wanna add?
I'm all set.
All right.
That's good for that.
I think that's gonna cut it there. Thank you for tuning in. Knuckleheads EP dropping soon. Peace.
Peace, boys.
Deuces.
Knuckleheads, knuckleheads. Always a couple steps ahead. Shawty wanna fuck, then go to bed. I swear this reefer got me smiling. Wake up, then get high again. I can find another thing, I feel so damn inspiring. And when I'm off that vodka, go maracas on your ass. See like 3 3s in a